We back, baby.
Back, guys. Welcome back, guys, to a 4th of July special of Strictly Football, man. How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's hot as fuck over here. So.
Define hot because I feel like we have different
Oh,
definitions
it's
of hot.
crazy. Y'all are like, oh, it's chilly. Y'all, dude, this is not. I'm not built like that. I'm from the city, man. The highest it gets is like 79.
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
crazy for you.
That's crazy for me. I'm dying already at that point.
So again, where are you now?
I'm in San Bruno, so
Okay.
it's not too far removed.
The,
Hmm.
def- there's definitely less buildings covering up, so
Yeah,
there is a temperature change for sure.
yeah, yeah.
That's good, man.
But yeah,
Um,
man, I'm good, man. How are you guys? Happy
Feeling pretty
birthday,
good.
Jose.
Mhm.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Feeling good,
Yeah.
man. Feeling good. Just basically slept all day today, um, and just kind of woke up a few hours ago, and I was like, all right, man, it's time to record a podcast. It's time to see how this Ecuador Argentina game turn out. A lot more interesting than I thought it would be. A lot more dramatic as well. So, but it's feeling good, man. Nice to have you. How about you,
Yeah.
Irving? How you doing, man?
Nice.
Look like
I'm doing good. Um, yeah, as I was saying, it's just heat wave hit the Bay Area. For those that don't know, we're from the Bay Area, and yeah. But apart from that, I'm good. Had a day off today. So slept in, and yeah, just doing good.
that's good, man. I feel like you know it's gonna be a good episode today. Feel like we have a special Fourth of July, a special Fourth of July debate. Just kind of entitling what we celebrate for the folks that listen to us from across the globe. It's our Independence Day here, so get the day off, get to chill, and enjoy some fireworks in a couple of hours, I believe. Anywhere where we are. Um, yeah, man. Let's get this started, dude. Let's get this going. I'm excited to see what you guys have. On these topics. So let's start with our usual, man, our Tarjeta Roja segment of the week. Um, what do you guys have, man? I'm gonna let you guys take this one over. I feel like there's a few of them, and let's see if we can come up with different ones.
It
Not
is.
Hmm.
It
maybe
is a
just
few of them.
Yeah.
It
not
is a few of
not
them. I
so.
I could go first. 'Cause I wouldn't. The one that I'm thinking about is Christian Pulisic
Mm.
and his antics towards the ref at the end of the game of the Uruguay game, and telling the ref that he should go celebrate with the Uruguay team. And I I I just feel sad for the U.S. men's national team fans that tricked themselves into believing that like that type of behavior is okay, and that somehow like everything's Greg Berhalter's fault, and I think he's at fault, but like a part of this blame goes on the players. And if this is your leader doing that, then who knows what else is happening in that locker room.
Hey,
So my tarjeta roja of the week goes Christian Pulisic.
Christian Puss.
well deserved, man. Well deserved on that guy. How about you, Irving? What do you got?
Me, I think my tarjeta roja is going to Miguel Ayun. Um, just because, we'll talk about it in a bit, but after the Mexico Ecuador game, very disappointing result for Mexico. Uh, Miguel Ayun is part of Tu DN, where La Volpe and Faitenson are part of as well, and they were doing some after post match commentary. And in that post match, Faitenson just was tearing the Mexico national team apart as he should, saying that they're garbage, that they're not worth anything, that yeah, it's a lost cause essentially. And then Miguel Ayun starts defending La Selección and its players, saying that heads don't have to roll for them there to be change, and that we have a great pool of players to choose from, and that there's no crisis and all that kind of stuff. And to me, it just seems kind of bit of bias or blindsidedness. I'm not sure if it's a bit of both, but yeah, I mean, I think for those that really understand the situation, everybody understands that Mexico is in a crisis right now, and it's horrible. The team's horrible, the coach is horrible. I lost hope in that as well, but I'll get into that later. Yeah, and also tarjeta roja to the fans that are still going to these games, and yeah, as Sam said, who isn't here, uh, there's fans that are shocked that Mexico lost. They're shocked that this is it for Mexico. And the truth is the reality of football, right? In Mexico. So yeah, tarjeta roja to those fans as well. And Caramelo, man, I don't know why they keep showing that man. Yeah, man's in every broadcast and every single panoramic shot. Uh, and Caramelo Jr. too, his son.
Die Hard.
Yeah.
It's like, and I mean, I guess to that point, and I feel like you see it a lot more. It's like the amount of like influencers or TikTokers or whatever that get like promote these games now is crazy because it's like, yo, I guarantee that you don't know much about soccer, but you're getting paid by the Federación to go to these games and promote them. Which is it's crazy to me. But yeah, I see a lot of people. I'm like, you don't create content anything related to soccer, but you somehow at the game. It's like, and that's why I feel like that's also part of the problem. But I won't get into that rabbit hole, at least not today, because today it's about America. And today we're going to talk about the other side of failure. But no, for me, my tarjeta roja this week, I'm gonna give it to the Belgium national team. And it's not just the tarjeta roja of the week, but it's like I think it's now been over 10 years that they have been feeding us that this Belgium team is the that they've had this gold generation of players. And I don't doubt that they didn't or that they don't because they have great players, but they have not accomplished anything together. And it's like I think if you go back in time or like whatever, it's like the FIFA rankings always has this team within the top three selecciones of the world. Like how do they get there? I don't know, but I've like every major tournament that I've seen them, I've never seen them play like a top nation. So I think it's something like it's like you kind of put it into perspective when you see them play, and it's like yo, like they make you believe that this team is really good. They do have great players, but there's no chemistry, and it feels like it's just another case of like nobody can manage this team, or like nobody has been able to manage such great players over the past years, and them falling out again. In the round of 16s, it's another example. And fair that they did lose on an own goal and stuff, but maybe they could have done a lot more to not have to face France in the first round. So that's my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not facing France would have definitely been the easier. It would have
Yeah.
been definitely the easier path.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they couldn't get the job done. And that's
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the story of this Belgium team. And I don't want to hear golden generation from Belgium ever again because I know what the golden generation was supposed to be, and that never delivered. So
Mm-mm.
and I feel like I mean at least like with like maybe this like just this like at least just with these Euros, it's like they're giving us this Trossard who's like really good, Doku. Lukaku was actually in form heading into the tournament and just pulled another Lukaku in the tournament. It's like it's just like I don't know, like there's just something going on with that team that they can't play together. But
my theory is that it's a KDB.
Mm.
could be,
I think
could
that's my
be.
theory. He's been the only common denominator. I feel like across
Yeah.
the board, and he plays in a central place. So I think he's the cancer in that team.
Ooh, hey man, I feel like he doesn't have that much longer left on the national team too. So, but what
Yeah.
like But anyways, guys, let's move it along. Those are the Tarjeta Rojas. I think I like it. We were kind of across the board. There's definitely plenty more to give out. But for now, let's hand it over to Irving. Give us the recap of the weeks. A lot's been going on in the summer market. A lot's been going on with the tournaments. So have at it, man.
Yeah. So yeah, right now,
Yeah, transition,
and yeah,
transition time,
transition. Uh,
transition time.
it's
Uh-huh.
it's a big international still summer. So not a lot going on club wise, but Mexico yet again, or the Mexican federation, proving why this team will never go anywhere. El Chiquito Sanchez had hopes and dreams to leave to go play in Spain, is what was being hoped for, and Sevilla was a team that was keeping close eye on him, and Real Valladolid, right? Or Real Oviedo, right? Real Oviedo. Uh, but he ends up signing for America, $10 million. He's getting paid, essentially choosing the money over, or Grupo Pachuca choosing the money over uh, sending one of your players, your most promising players, to Europe. So again, and Jorge Sanchez returning from Europe after a short stint playing for Cruz Azul. The fee is undisclosed yet, or hasn't been is undisclosed right now. But yeah, just again another Mexican player returning from Europe, uh, and part of the problem with the Mexico team and federation, and yeah, and finally just Jude Bellingham was getting hated at for the for a gesture he made towards or what people thought was a Slovakian players. The federation was or the UEFA was considering banning him, but he's probably gonna just face a fine. And if you can show me the first slide, Ariel, of the thing I put a picture. Yeah, just the first slide. Yeah. So for those watching, that's the gesture right there. And for those listening, he's grabbing his palomita.
Easy, easy.
uh,
Ajá.
uh,
Agarrando la palomita para volar, dice aquel.
yeah. So yeah, but he said that it was just intended towards his friends and a gesture towards his friends. Um, so yeah, just that's it. That's our recap of the week. Short recap of the week, but we're about to talk about Euros and Copa America. So yeah.
I guess the thing with Chiquito Sanchez, and I think I've said it in another podcast. It's like he's now gonna go play for the team that I root for. I'm on the fence on that. And it's just like a couple of like, first of all, it's like, yeah, man, like, where do you get $10 million in Mexico? That's that's a crazy figure for what Mexican soccer is. It's like I can't like I don't I don't see it, and it's like, but again, it's just another failed case of a player not choosing to go to Europe. And I think, or I guess, like the way I see it with like these players not choosing Europe, rather choosing Mexico, it's like maybe they feel like by staying in Mexico, they have a better chance of being in the national team. But yeah, I still think yeah, nobody from Europe is going to pay more than 4 or 5 million for a player if they want to get him. So it's crazy. I mean, I still think paying 10 million within Mexico is just crazy.
It's like they just do not want to learn that lesson,
No.
of just selling their player and just sending them to Europe. Just put something in their contract to make your money back. Jesus Christ, like it's not unheard of. You know what I'm saying? Like, who did
Yeah.
that was I don't know if you've heard about. Sorry, just to derail it a little bit. It just because it just makes me think about like maybe how far behind we are in the Concacaf and maybe Liga MX because they're one of the bigger leagues here that they're just not thinking about this, or I don't know if they're not thinking about it, but they're just not implementing it like to the full extent. Like FC Basel from I want to say they're from Switzerland. they are the ones that own this Italian kid that everyone's raving about.
Mm-hmm.
That plays for Bologna.
Mm-hmm.
Calafiore.
Yeah, there you go, that kid. And so what's crazy is that they're gonna essentially sell him to Arsenal, and FC Basil's still gonna get a cut from that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you could just do business like that. I just don't understand why Mexican clubs are so like they're so against that. You know what I'm saying? And like, no knock on America, but like, America is also playing a role in the deterioration of the sales también. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're playing a role in it because they're the ones buying them. So I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I feel like the con or like I guess maybe I'll leave you the Bellingham idea, but it's like the contrast to this like sell. It's like a few years ago, like we America sold Jorge Sanchez to Porto, and it's like it was cool. Like you see this right back that was out to be a good player, getting sold to Europe, and now it's like didn't get enough playing time. He may not have had the talent to play out there, and now he's getting shipped back, and he's getting shipped back to a team that is going to pay him a lot of money, the same way that they're doing Chiquito Sanchez with America. The only difference is that one of them didn't go and warm up the bench in Europe, and but at the same time, the outcome is still going to be the same. They're still going to end up in Mexico. So it may just
Yeah.
be that they don't. They like maybe the hard reality. Like there just isn't enough talent of a Mexican player to compete in at the level that they play in Europe. It's like
Yeah.
it's like, compare and contrast. Like they're both ending up in the same thing, getting a whole lot of money, but in Mexico.
I mean, it almost feels like there's a self fulfilling prophecy there for Mexican players of just like, because there's like the story with Alexis Vega and not wanting to go and just being like, well, why the fuck would I want to do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm cool right here. Like, I'm chilling right here. So why would I do that? So it almost feels like I'm curious to know what that locker room in the Mexican national team is in regards to Jorge Sanchez and him coming back and be like, yeah, why would you go do that? You're just gonna go waste your time. You know? Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's just the way that I'm envisioning that conversation in the locker room, but I just don't see it as a productive one, especially as someone like Marcelo Flores is in there. Like, you got younger players that are also listening to that. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like no one can really talk about being cool in Europe other than Santi, and even him, he's being outcasted by the media and in Mexico, really.
Yeah.
So, um, okay, for me, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about this Bellingham thing, and then I'll be short because I don't want to go too long. I just feel like there's just like a double standard here with this. For Turkey, the player gets a ban, 2 match ban, and I think that that's already been official. With Jude Bellingham, there's been like days of like supposedly like investigations, right, about this gesture, and if they're gonna ban the other one, I don't see why they wouldn't ban him for this, but it just feels like Bellingham is just not a player that they can afford to ban. So it's unfortunate because I think you really see the disparities between bigger countries, quote unquote, and smaller countries in regards to football. Like it's just England is more profitable than Turkey. So uh and Bellingham is like their star boy. So they're he's probably not gonna get banned.
Yeah.
It's like for however much or for however days this story has been going on, I still haven't seen the friends he was saying the gesture to. So it's like
Yeah.
there may not even be friends. It's just
Yeah.
it's Bellingham. We can't ban Bellingham.
Yeah, we can't ban him.
But you, Irving, you wanna add something to any of these topics? How are you feeling?
No, I think y'all touched on all of them. Yeah, yeah. There's nothing to say about Mexicans returning or staying in Mexico. I mean, we've always said that in this podcast, and I'm sure we're about to talk about it right now when we talk about Mexico and the many failures they have going on for them. So. Yeah,
All right.
that's about it.
Cool, man. All right, man. Well, without further, let's move on to our headline, man. As you know, the summer of international football is coming to an end. I think by the next time we see each other, we're going to be talking about the two finals. But in the meantime, we are in the round of 16s. Well, the round of 16s just passed. The quarterfinals start tomorrow for the Euros. And today we saw Argentina Ecuador play the first match of the quarterfinals in Copa America. I mean, I'll open up the floor to you guys, see what you guys took away from these tournaments, from USA getting eliminated, seeing that Mexico obviously our 70% chance that we were giving them 2 weeks ago, now it's zero. Um, Canada and Panama stepping it up. Anything you guys want to talk about, man? Feel free to give me your takeaways of these past 2 weeks of Copa America and Euros.
Yeah. For me, I think I want to talk about the Euros first, just because, yeah, the quarterfinals are upon us now. And to me, I think that the things I want to touch on first is Portugal. They looked very shaky against Slovenia or Slovenia. Yeah, right. Yeah, they look very shaky against Slovenia, and man, my boy CR7's getting a lot of hate right now, saying that he's washed, that he shouldn't be taking free kicks, penalties. He shouldn't have been playing at all. He should be on the bench. And I kind of disagree with those remarks that people are making. I think that although you can tell that he's a 39-year-old essentially, I think he still provides something for this team that I think another player couldn't, which is just a striker, someone up there. I mean, I know the Saudi league is seen as like a farmers league or not as good as European leagues are, but I mean, man still scored 40 goals, this past season, and it's not like he just did that because the competition's easy or he's a 39-year-old scoring 40 goals. So I think that's something that Portugal, although he still has not scored, I think is something that Portugal needs. uh, they have a great midfield. They have a great defense. And Rafael Leao is starting to pick up the pace a little bit. I liked how he played in this game. So yeah. And for England, man, I'm kind of support England and Portugal. So that's what I'm talking about, both of them. But England, yeah, they look horrible. No sense of play. Going forward, their best is probably the defense. If that, they got bailed out by a I wouldn't call it lucky. It's just one of those like goals that that parece. But yeah, saved by Bellingham in the last minute. And yeah, but they look horrible. I know a lot of people are saying Switzerland might beat them in the next round. It's very possible. Switzerland looked pretty good. But yeah, a lot of people are saying out Southgate should be fired, and I agree. Um, but yeah, that's my take on the Euros. I think the next the next the next round or quarterfinals should be interesting as well, with Spain and Germany and Portugal and France playing each other. So, yeah,
Uh,
that's the Euros for me.
yeah, the Euros. Yeah, I'll follow that a little bit. I'll hit some of the same points. Not all the same, but one of the things that I want to kind of hone in on Cristiano. I gotta kind of have to disagree with you a little bit about my guy. I mean, that's my guy as well, but I feel I didn't feel like as like so I caught the game late. So I'll say that. So I'll preface this with this. I caught the game late, and my initial thought was like, oh, they just don't want Portugal to win. Like the rest of his team. Like I'm like, oh, they just don't
Mm-hmm.
want to see my boy win. But then I saw the rest of the game. Then I opened up my eyes and nah, I mean, I don't know if he's adding as much as we think he is, and one of the reasons that I think that is in the set pieces. I mean, he just wanted to take everything, and there's nobody in the problem with someone like Christie is there's nobody in the team that can check him, that can tell him like, "Hey, dog, like this is not you." You know what I'm saying? Like this is out of your range. Or you haven't scored this shit in over 40 attempts. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like nobody is gonna tell him that. You know what I'm saying? The only person that I could think that is Pepe, but Pepe's not going to tell him that because that's his boy. So I don't know. I feel like he's kind of hurting the team really with his performances and the way he's kind of being. Um, and I mean, it's sad really because I think that he can still offer something, and I just feel like this last game, I think really highlighted some of the worst qualities of his game. Like the selfishness came out, like the egoism came out, like it's about me. Um and some of that, and I mean, if we're Cristiano Ronaldo fans, we know that that's not all our guy, that's not all him, but there's games like this that really kind of highlight like the ugliness of the way that sometimes that he is when he's playing. Um so that's my take on Greece. And Portugal, I think as a team didn't look that good. I think England again, I fucking hope that they get knocked out next round. I think they're the most overrated team in this fucking tournament. Southgate, keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Everybody's hating on you. I'm with you, buddy. Keep it up. You're lucky that Jude Bellingham is there and that he is like, I think if anything, I mean he played a horrible game. Horrible game, but he's a type of player that has that X factor, and I think he really showed that in this game where he can change the game. He can change the trajectory of the game, and games like that, lucky for England that this player is on their team because without him, I don't think that they would have kept going.
Yeah.
Southgate is just too afraid to go forward. He's
Mhm.
just not taking enough risks with the players that he has. So it just really showed. I mean, they're really stagnant. They don't really offer much going forward. So um, I mean, Spain. I mean, they took out my team. That's my only thing. I really wanted Georgia to keep winning. I really like Georgia. I thought they were probably one some of the most exciting football that I've seen in the Euros, and I really like their counterattack, that they're so fast, like, they're so, like, quick, in the way that they can just hurt you really, really fast with their counterattack. It's unfortunate that Spain just kinda, Spain did what Spain does, right? And I think that
Spain is iffy right now.
they're diffy, and I also wanna preface this that I'm not completely convinced on Spain tampoco.
Mm.
So, I don't think that they've met a real opponent yet, and
They will
I
now.
I think that they have been facing opponents that are not gonna they don't have enough of a talent to neutralize Yamal and Nico. And whatever team that comes up next that can neutralize those two, I don't know where the danger comes from in Spain other than these two.
Yeah.
So that to me is I'm excited about that because they get to face some real teams now that can start locking these kids down and kind of shut them up and then we're gonna see what fucking Fabian Ruiz is doing in the middle and fucking
Hey, he's playing good though.
and fucking
He's
Morata.
playing good.
Well, yeah, he's doing good because the kids are doing good. But once the kids get neutralized, what the fuck's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Are you getting me hyped up? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck's Morata gonna do? Nothing.
Joselu?
Jose Lu, what's he gonna? Did you see what he said about Germany? I'm like, this guy thinks he's the main character, dude. Like, come on. I
I
can't
think I
wait.
think they faced their biggest test to me.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And then that last game though was pretty good though. The Turkey game that was
Turkey
pretty good. That was a
game.
good game. Two exciting teams, I think. So I'll stop there with the Euros.
I mean, yeah, exclusive developing as we have this podcast going on. It's been reported that whether England win or lose this tournament, likely that they lose, Garrett Southgate will sign a 2-year extension that will keep him as the head coach heading into the 2026 World Cup.
That's insane. That's crazy, man.
So we're gonna get to see our boy Southgate leading the pack for England at the World Cup here. Once this has been they love him in England, dude.
It's just the way
Really?
they play. Yeah, the way they play is so bland. Like it's so boring. Like you just I've tuned in. I think to almost every single England game, and every game is the same. You know, you want to fall asleep while you're watching it. It's just such boring way to play from Southgate with the talent he has as well up top, in the back. He has it probably one of England's best generations right now, and he's doing nothing. It's just bland football. He's just passing it around the back, hoping to get a little counter attack, and that's about it.
But you know
Man,
what the
come
you
on,
know
man.
the
Let's quit acting like these players are Pelé. That they had fucking Adriano up there. Like they have fucking Cafu in the back. Like, cool. I'll give you Kyle Walker, but that's the only beast that I see on that back line. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I'm
hey,
saying?
hey,
Like,
Hey,
They have Pickford as the goalie. Come on,
hey,
man. Let's quit acting like this generation of England players is the new coming of gods. Like,
I
they're
mean, but
one of the
come
most
on, they have,
overrated teams. They have Jude Bellingham and they have Harry Kane that can't win a trophy.
but hey, look, they have arguably the best striker from last season in Harry Kane. They have a Ballon d'Oro candidate in Jude Bellingham. They have Phil Foden, who we know is a
He's not
great
anything without
player.
Pep. I think that's what we're learning.
We have Saka as well, who is also
That's my
probably
guy.
one of the best Premier League, his best Premier League season to date. Declan Rice just had his best Premier League season. Like they have amazing talents on their team, and Southgate's doing nothing with them. It's just horrible, horrible football, horrible, bland football, boring football. They're playing like La Selección right now. How you see La Selección play? That's how England plays.
Is that? But hold on, dude. Hold on. Is that England just having talent, or is that just Premier League bias?
I don't. I think it's just England having talent, and I just think Southgate is not the one to put the team together and make them do something.
'Cause I don't know, man. This team is full of just Premier League biases. That's what I see on this team.
I, I
Uh,
well, actually, I mean, the only thing you guys are forgetting is that he doesn't have Calvin Phillips. That's why he's not playing good. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what, dude? You're right.
You're right. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot.
You're right, dude.
I
You're right.
forgot.
Let him
My
get a
bad.
healthy Calvin Phillips, dude, and that team's playing different.
That's a different man, man. That's a
Yeah,
different team. That's a different beast with that
that's the
man on
X
the team.
factor right there.
Yeah, dude. Hey, man, I didn't.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess to the Premier League bias, I want to say that it could be because if you look at every England player in that starting squad, I don't even think that player, whatever player you name me, Saka, Foden, um, the back line with Shaw and all that, like none of those players are in their Premier League team are in the top three of the best players in that team. They just play for a good team,
Ooh.
but they're
You're telling
but
me Saka is not a top three in Arsenal?
no,
Yeah, he is, but
What?
he
no, no,
is,
no, no,
but
no, no.
no,
As a
that back
team,
line. Come on,
as
Okay,
a
the back
team,
line, sure, sure, but it's because
no,
he
no,
said
no,
Saka. I was like, what?
no, no, no. Hey, Saliba is above him. No, and I'm not saying positional player. Like I'm just saying as a team
just
as a
in
whole.
general, Odegaard.
As a general, yeah, Odegaard is better, has better talent
But
than Saliba.
that thing that's where it is though.
That's
Saka's
where it
third.
ends, though. That's where it ends.
Okay, but now you're putting him the third best player, and you have
Yeah, yeah, I am putting him the third best player. I'd put him probably the best player.
no, 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 no,
I
no.
mean, you could
That's
argue that
crazy talk.
Martinelli maybe Martinelli maybe goes over him. Trussard maybe
Tr- tr-
maybe. I doubt it though.
Uh, Come on.
I mean, but to that point, like it's not like once Saka makes it to the national team, like the way that I've seen it is like Saka has not been doing good this tournament. Like
No.
towards the end of that game, like they had my boy playing left wing back out of an experiment that just came about because I think they did say that he had played that with Arsenal maybe a few
Hmm.
games, but it's like you had him at left wing back because he wasn't doing anything for you in the right.
Yeah. See,
Man,
but that's where
let us
that's
know in the chat, man. We got a few people in here
that.
watching this, man. Let us know
Eh,
in the chat. What do you think? Is England overrated, or or is it just Premier League bias? Because
See, but
I'm
that's
curious
what's wrong
about
with
that.
Southgate. Look at him. Saka has not been having a good tournament, and my boy Cole Palmer still is struggling to get minutes.
Get
Instead of
Cole
just
Palmer out of here. I'm tired of
nah,
hearing
come
about
on.
Cole Palmer, man. I'm
Cole
tired about
Palmer
this,
was
man.
one of the
Come
best players
on.
this Premier League season, and man can't get any minutes.
I saw what I
Ollie
saw, and
Watkins,
he didn't do anything when he came on. I'm sorry,
Ollie
he didn't do
Watkins,
anything.
another one of the best strikers this season in the Premier League, still is not getting minutes. Ivan Tony, I don't know. I don't know why he's playing him. I mean, man's
Oh,
been
hey, whoa,
out
whoa,
of
whoa,
football.
whoa, whoa, whoa. My dog finally got some minutes, and he got an assist. Come on, man.
True,
That's
but
my
it's just
dog right there.
I know he had a long ban and he didn't play for a while, so that's why I'd rather see Ollie Watkins. Yeah, at least he played Kobe Minu and he had a decent game. But yeah,
No,
Southgate.
if there's anything, Kobe Mino might be the player that I think should be highlighted as actually
Yeah.
performing to expectations because he's actually been doing really good. It almost makes me believe like you don't need a Calvin Phillips, but I'm not. I don't run that boat, so I can't tell you that once Calvin gets healthy, that my boy Mino is just going to get relegated to maybe not even getting called up. Um, and I think the one thing after the Portugal game that I saw, and I was talking about this with a friend, and it's like Portugal just Portugal won the hardest game that they had to win by the way they played. Ronaldo missing a penalty, wanting to be the main character, and not doing good. I think they won their hardest game because from here on out, the path
Mm,
to get to the final, the path to win, it's not like cool if you lose against France. Like there's like you lost to France. You can't There's no argument to say that you're a better team than France, right? But if there's one thing, like just one minor thing that I took away from that game and from like the emotional roller coaster that is Cristiano Ronaldo now at 39 as we watch him play, was that as everything was going on, like I saw like the two players that maybe do not like him as much in Joao Cancelo and Bruno Fernandes actually feel like they were part of the team and like kind of putting like their egos aside to like just put it all together and manage a way to win. So it's like that's my one takeaway that like I don't know like they felt like even though the game was a struggle and that they probably could have been eliminated on that last minute deflected shot and the goalie's a fucking beast. Wouldn't be a surprise if he's gonna end up in a good team soon. But it just felt like the team was a lot more united than I thought they were heading into the tournament. So that can help. I feel like when you have a united team, that helps a lot more
yeah.
heading into like what it is, getting to the final.
Yeah, the last thing
Um,
I'll say about go ahead.
no, no, go ahead because I wanted to switch and touch base a little bit on
Okay.
Copa America.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about the Euros is just a personal note. Man, it hurt a little seeing Ronaldo cry out there, man. Just a little bit, knowing that it might have been his last game for a Portugal jersey, knowing that his time was up. It was a little sad, but hey, people making fun of my guy. But as a Ronaldo fan, as someone you consider the GOAT, just seeing him miss a penalty that he would make 9 times out of 10 is, yeah, it was tough, but they grinded out the win.
That was a good pen too.
Yeah,
So shout out to
all
fucking
black.
Oblak because
Mhm.
that was a good pen.
Yeah,
Well, all right, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that for the Euros. Cross over to Copa America. Can I get some claps, Ariel? Just to just give the credit where credit is due. Panama, man. See you guys in 2026. You guys are gonna be there, and I love what they have done, and I love that the team, the nation, the federation has invested into this project so that because I feel like maybe out of the selecciones in Central America, Panama maybe has been the one that has like they knew this opportunity was coming, right? Where like more eyes were gonna be focused on this side on this side, and like they've actually taken that and like you know what, let's support our talent, let's do this, let's become a team. And this is like seeing them come out of the group and just seeing them just the way they play, beating the U.S. A lot of I think there's a lot of good young talent. Like they've actually they're ready. Like they're ready. They've shown that they're ready in this Copa America, and they're gonna be ready come the World Cup. Um,
Mm.
so that's my little takeaway just on the claps for Panama. Um, I mean, Panama and Canada, the only CONCACAF team is making it out. I would argue that Canada was really close to not making it out against that Chile game, but Chile's just kind of been on the downward spiral for a few years now. If not, we would. I mean, if they would have managed to have scored in that game, then we would have just seen Panama play the quarterfinals from CONCACAF.
Yeah.
Um, Brazil's not looking good. I don't think they have a team with chemistry that can link up what Vinicius and Rafinha can do with the midfielders. And oh man, I mean, just a little touch base on Mexico. Like, think I, in the essence of what we said about the U.S., like I feel like just seeing Mexico get eliminated, we thought it would be the best thing that could have happened to them. But just the reports saying that they're still going to keep Jimmy, they're still going to keep the players. Like it just it's just another tournament for them, and it's gonna things. What we're seeing now is just going to keep going heading into the World Cup.
I mean, I think Mexico finds itself in a weird place. I think I really appreciate what Gordo said on shout out to that show. Uh, Even though he's a Trump supporter, bless his soul. Uh, I mean, one of the things that he was just talking about was like, this shit will not change until the fans from over here stop buying this product. Like this election is for the fans that are here, and I think that was really kind of on display. This sorry, yeah, there's fireworks like right outside my thing.
I'm about to say, duck down, man, duck down.
Nah, there's, but I think like Mexico is in a position where they need the money, and their biggest consumer is not in Mexico, so they're gonna try to sell it to this audience, and it can be a shitty, it could be the shittiest product that they have, and the fans here will still buy it, and they don't really have to change. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't particularly think that letting go of Jimmy would have been the answer. I think you kind of have to stick with him
Yeah.
and kind of go through that process. Like as hard as it's gonna be, like you have to go through that process to win. Like I'm thinking about like uh you know not to compare him like full on, but Scaloni was like that too with Argentina. He didn't have that much experience, and not to say that Jimmy's gonna win you a World Cup, but like that's how a process is started. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you guys just don't like to be embarrassed. You guys don't like to to be in that situation. So I don't know. I don't think Jimmy letting go of Jimmy would have been the answer. And at least for me, uh, for the other games, as for the other games, I think Panama is one of the real highlights of the Concacaf. That one thing that I think really sticks out to me about this team is that even in the dysfunctionality of CONCACAF, Panama has been able to create a system and create uh, a feeder type of system in Central America that they've been able to make it work. No player on that Panama team plays in the Panamanian league. They all play in different leagues.
Mm.
So they have figured out something. So to me, I'm looking at the other Central American countries and being like, dog, just follow what they're doing. I just don't understand what can be so hard about this. And obviously their coach is really good, but still, like it's I don't know. Panama is an example for me. The US, I think letting us down, but and they made it out of a hard group. I think Panama is underrated how hard that group really actually was. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'll stay there.
Yeah. Uh, for me, I think, yeah. I mean, I'll talk a bit about Mexico. Just 'cause, I mean, everybody knows, or we all here know, and most people know what Mexico really is right now. It's just, yeah. On I forgot when the game was, but against Ecuador, it's just a sad excuse of a team, and I think you realize it once, like they're just hoping for a penalty in the last couple plays of the game. They're arguing with the ref, like, handball penalty, and fans after the game, trying to prove that there was a handball, prove that there was something there to be called. But when you're hoping for a penalty or something like that, that's how you know how bad you've fallen and how bad you've played. That you're just hoping for something to happen to bail you out. And many people have highlighted it. This team only conceded one. This team didn't concede a goal, and I think that's the only highlight I'd really take away from Mexico in this is that the back line is arguably the best thing Mexico has right now, especially their two center backs. They didn't concede a single goal. Uh, Obviously a penalty, but that wasn't even a defender's fault. If we want to get technical, um, so yeah, I think that's the only highlight for me. Johan Vasquez and Cesar Montes proving that they're really great center backs, and both play in Europe and both are sticking to Europe. They've both been offered $1 million to come back and play for Mexico, and they both declined. So I think many Mexican players should follow that kind of rule or follow that kind of process. To me, I'm kind of on the fence about whether Jimmy Lozano should stay. Um, I think although he's won the Gold Cup, which we all know is kind of worth nothing at this point, um, for Mexico, like it's just such a bad performance at the Copa America. You he painted this picture that he was going to give a generational change and everything like that, but I mean, we essentially didn't see any difference in play, any difference in players. The same players were out there. They didn't give a chance to players like Alexis Vega, Marcelo Flores. They didn't give a chance to even Chino Huerta until the end. Uh, Piojo Alvarado didn't get any playing time, and they're playing my boy Antuna and Quinones, who arguably had a really bad tournament. And that's just the top of the problem for Mexico. It runs deep into the federation and the exportation of players and the selling of players and how the federation does business with the selección instead of just running as a football federation. So yeah, the problem is deep in Mexico, and uh, many people have said it, but I think maybe 2026 is a lost cause for Mexico, and it sucks because it's in their hometown. So yeah. And for the U.S., I think it's probably their biggest disappointment to date. They had arguably an even easier group than Mexico in the fact that they had Bolivia and Panama in there. I know Panama's in the next round, but I think people expect USA to beat Panama. And I think Berhalter is not the answer. I think Berhalter should get fired, but I know there's reports of him staying. So I don't know, but I think yeah, disappointment for USA, big one. We'll see where they go from there. And yeah, I think that Pulisic arguing with the ref is pretty funny in my opinion. But that the refing in that game was very very bad in my opinion. It was very bad. The ref was making weird calls and letting people play on, but then when nothing would happen for Uruguay, he'd call the foul backs, things like that. Or like the one that people highlight a lot is like the ref was giving a yellow card to a USA player, but letting the play on for Uruguay. While he was giving the yellow card to the USA player, so it was just things like that. But yeah, the disappointment from the arguably or what we consider to be the two biggest CONCACAF teams, and yeah, that that's what I want to talk about for me.
Cool, man. I feel like, I mean, I guess heading into the quarterfinals, obviously Argentina already passed. It's like, well, what happens maybe in a selection like Brazil? Like, do we give them hopes of beating Uruguay? And if they don't, like, what's next for them? Like, what's next for these selecciones that are like kind of like in the limbo of like playing bad but having enough talent to not be playing the way they are?
I mean that to me is like for Brazil of like there's always gonna be talent in Brazil.
Hmm.
Always. You talking about England talent? Come on. Brazil is just like they're drowning in talent. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much talent there, and this is just one example of a really badly ran, coached Brazil team. I mean, I think it's I don't know. I feel like I'd be panicking if I was the Federation of Brazil. Like I think I'd be panicking because we're 2 years away. You haven't found a replacement for Neymar. Neymar can't be the answer anymore. And I think that you have to kind of accept that. And I don't think that Vinny is the answer. They don't have a striker. Their right back is their captain, Danilo. I mean, we're in shambles. Lucas Paqueta is talking about coming back to Brazil because he's getting banned to play in Europe. Like, there's so much going on in this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just I don't know. They're just not in a good place. They don't have a striker. They don't have some of these key pieces. This midfield, I was one of the ones. If we go back to what's exciting about this tournament, I was the one that was like, I'm excited to see how this midfield plays because they're the kind of the ones that don't really have names. And I take that shit back because what I'm seeing right now, it's horrible. It's horrendous. Like they can't like
Yeah.
there's no flow. They're not flowing. They're not creating chances for this for the forwards. Like Rodrigo is not a forward. He's not a striker. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's playing out of position. And he probably should be playing Cam because he'd probably be doing better than Paqueta. But I'm starting to realize that I think Paqueta's a big fraud. I think that's what I'm learning out of this tournament is that he's a fraud, man. I mean, guy like I don't see it unless I'm wrong, unless y'all are seeing something that I'm not seeing. But from what I'm seeing, Paqueta is a big ass fraud. Like he's just not doing what he's supposed to be doing as the 10. And it's just really evident in their chance created. Like they're just praying and hoping that Vinny is just able to beat the players. And the problem with Vinny is that he's predictable. You put him a fast ass player like Michel in Costa Rica, and he's locked down. If he can't beat them on speed, Vinny doesn't offer anything else. I know you're a big Vinny guy, Irving, but your boy is predictable. He doesn't have vision. He can't like cut inside. Like he's not creating chances for other players. His crossing is horrendous. Like if he can't beat them one on one on speed, the man is irrelevant. So I don't know. Brazil got. I mean, you got me worked up. That's my team. So it's just they got a lot of work to do. There's talent, but they need to get a real coach in there, not the Costa Rica coach.
Not to Costa Rica. That's the problem, man. He's coaching two teams.
He's coaching two teams, man.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, it's like I feel like if anything, like as we see the teams now, and as I think Brazil is the example I bring up, it's like as we're seeing this Copa America, like I feel like Uruguay is playing good, Argentina is playing good, Colombia ni se diga, like 20, what's it, 29, 30 games
6, I
unbeaten,
think. 26.
26 unbeaten games. Like those three teams have kind of like I think with heading into like the
Venezuela too,
quarterfinals.
though. Don't forget Venezuela.
Well,
Venezuela.
no, this is where like, or this is where I'm going. So like those three teams, like I think over the years have shown that they have a team, right, or that they have something going on. But now it's like now we're seeing Venezuela. Venezuela has a lot of good players that are playing across the globe. It's like Ecuador is the same thing. Like I think I was after watching the Mexico game, I was like, I told one of my friends, and I was like, "Yo, how is it possible that we thought that either Chino Huerta or Antuna were gonna get past Incapié? Like, that was never gonna happen, dude. Like never. Like to think that like we were happy to, or like I know Irving was happy because Chino Huerta was starting that game and that
And
he
he
was
did
gonna like
great. He was the best player that
he
game.
was getting he,
Arena.
I'm not the only. I'm not the only one saying that, and I'm not the only one saying that.
iba a callar bocas. It's like, dude, how did you expect them to get past Incapié? That was not gonna happen,
Crazy. It's a
dude.
different level, dog.
But it's like no, it's like now we're having Ecuador, we're having Venezuela stepping up in CONMEBOL, where it's like it's kind of putting Brazil, like I think Brazil's a lot closer to these other nations than the nations that I previously named. So it's like maybe I don't know if you guys see it that way, but it's like
No,
it's
yeah.
looking like it, and it's gonna make it a lot more interesting to see like what's Brazil gonna do, because I don't think they beat Uruguay. I mean, Vinny's not playing. That's already one like player that
Their
maybe you
biggest
may
threat.
trust. Yeah, you may trust to do good. So it's like if this is an early exit for them, like what's gonna happen? You know.
Yeah,
But
I mean, the only way I think that they could beat this Uruguay team because they press up so high is that they're gonna have to just beat them with speed. But unfortunately, one of your fastest and skillful players is not playing.
yeah,
That's my only concern here with that game
yeah.
with Brazil.
To me, I think I still think there's a way Brazil can win. Is it highly likely? Probably not. The way Uruguay is playing, Uruguay didn't look amazing against USA. I will say that. Darweezy wasn't looking as dangerous as he was in the first couple games. So the game didn't Uruguay didn't look as great. But that doesn't mean that they're gonna lose to Brazil. I mean, Brazil is just not playing well. I got the chance to see the Colombia game against Brazil over the weekend in person, and to say the least, this Colombia team is playing amazing. But I know we're talking about Brazil. Brazil, there's just nothing going forward. Nothing going forward. Yeah, Vinny to me is their biggest threat. And what I was telling Ariela off camera earlier in the week, I was like, to me, it seems like teams just figured out that, well, if we stop Vinny, there's nothing else going for this Brazil team. Sadly, Rodrigo is not playing any good. Rafinha as well, although he hit a great free kick, a great goal. He's not playing well. They're not giving minutes to Martinelli. I mean, this Costa Rica coach might as well throw out Enrique there, see what he does as striker, because Rodrigo's not cutting it. Again, I agree. Paqueta is a fraud. Bruno Guimaraes, horrible. The whole team is horrible. I think apart from, to me, Militao and Marquinhos are the two best players that they have right now, in form and playing well during the tournament. But yeah, Brazil to me, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from them against Uruguay. I'm sure it'll be a pretty tense game, close game, but yeah, I don't know. To me, it might be Argentina Colombia in the final. That's my prediction. But yeah, that's my Copa America takes right now.
hey, well, I feel like we should transition into your game.
Yeah.
As we speaking of Copa America, so let's move on to our.
You know what that means?
You know what that means? Transition music. Yeah. So my game, I put Copa America edition. It has some euros in it. I forgot to just put that. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Um, I called it Quien sí y Quien no. So basically, I'm gonna show you either a player or a flag of the team, of the selección, and you're gonna have to tell me yes, they're still good. They did all right, or I still have hope for them, or whatever it may be. And then no means they're done. I don't want to see them anymore, or they need to do something different, or something like that. Uh, so yeah, quien sí, quien no. So who's yes, who's good, and who's not good, who's doing bad.
It's the
So
same. It's the same slide, right?
yeah, yeah. So I'll just
Okay.
move it to the next slide. Let's see, it's loading for me. All right. Oh, oh yeah. Okay. So we have Vinny. I know Paqueta's here, but we have Vinny Jr. Is he a yes for you, or is he a no?
To keep. That's the idea, right?
Yeah, to keep or his play, or along those lines in this tournament.
I'll keep.
Keep. Why? Quick. Why?
He's the best player on that Brazil team, and he's the only one that looks like he's remotely even close to scoring a goal. So, which doesn't say much, but yeah.
Yeah,
Luis.
I'll keep as well. He, he's definitely a few levels above the rest of the players in this roster.
Yeah, and I agree. Me too. I'd keep him. He's the biggest threat. He's the person that can create more damage, more chances for this Brazil team, lackluster team. So next one, we have the U.S. Happy 4th of July. Yes or no? What do you think of their tournament performance?
No, get him out of here. They
Hmm.
uh they just seem too relaxed, man. They just seem too confident, overconfident in a Panama team, and they didn't come to sweat it out and to really give it their all. And I feel like they gave up. They gave up on their team. They gave up on the country, and they're just really immature. And I think like they need to shake it up either by switching up the starting lineup or something. Like they need to change aspects of this team that I think that have been kind of ignored because of potentially the talent that is there, right? But I don't know. They need to change something because the immaturity that was shown, not just like Tim Weah, because that's my guy, but I think just across the tournament, I just saw too much going at refs, too much going at other players. And you just don't need to be doing that at this level. Like you don't need that to get you hyped up. You shouldn't need that. You shouldn't need that to get you hyped up.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. No, in the tournament where I think many of us may have thought that they could have potentially played a semifinal, this is a disappointment for them.
I Yeah, I agree. Both you guys takes. We have Santi Jimenez. Yes or no? What you think, Ariel?
It's tough. I think he should stay. Yeah, I think he
Mm-hmm.
should stay. He's the best player that Mexico has, best striker that they have as an option. And they need to be patient with him. And I think they just need to create a better team around him. I can't fault him. Sure, he missed that chance, and he's probably gonna remember for that. But I can't fault him for the rest of the team sucking complete ass and not giving him any service.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they should keep him, but I feel like unlike being patient, I do feel like his time is running out from being in good graces with the fans. And it might not be, and partially when it might not be his fault because he may not have the right talent around him. But I do think time is ticking for him to have a good performance that can solidify him.
Yeah, I know he didn't have a good tournament. People were hoping for more out of him, especially in a tournament like this. But to me, yeah, you keep him. I think he is Mexico's best player. He is their best striker, despite what I may believe or anyone else believes. He is their best striker, and he did miss some chances. But I mean, come on, man, this guy's a great striker, and he's proved it in Europe. And yeah, the team around him is just horrible. No one can cross my guy a ball. No one can give him a right pass. He has to come back into the midfield and try to dish out the ball from midfield to Antuna and Quinones. So yeah, my guy's not at fault. And, he did have a bad tournament though, but I mean the team Mexico is just bad in general. So all right, CR7. Is he a
Oof,
yes or is he a no so
oof,
far in this Euros tournament?
oof.
It's tough right here.
Keep him, man.
This
Keep
is a
him.
tough
Come
one
on.
right here.
Don't get me there. Just keep him. Keep this guy, man.
I think you gotta go, man. You gotta go. This
Oh,
is You gotta go. You gotta be relegated to the bench. I still think that he can play a role. I just don't think him being out there for as long as he was out there, I think it's impeding the team from playing differently. I think that's my biggest thing is that they're just so predictable when he's in there because he's not gonna run back. He's not gonna they just need to throw him the ball, and I think that they need to try different styles, and because they have such skillful players, so they're being wasted by just trying to cross the ball to him. So he needs to go.
Ah, man, this is tough. I want to say keep him. I mean, that's just me being a big Ronaldo fan. But from last game, it did not look great with him. I think so many missed chances, the penalty, the way the team has to play. I agree with you on that, Ariel. I think you get more out of players like Rafael Leao and Bernardo Silva, and even Bruno Fernandez. I know he hasn't done great. I think you can get more out of them when Ronaldo's not on the field. Um, but I still believe, and like I said earlier, that he is still can be a threat as striker. Because to be honest, Portugal does not have a great striker. I know Leao can play striker, but he's not naturally a striker. Uh, but to me, he still poses a threat for the team, and I still think he should be out there in the starting lineup, especially for his play at club level. But I just his time is running out. At 39, his career's coming to an end. I think to me, and he's definitely not the same player that we all knew once. So yeah, and we have the last one, Jimmy Lozano. Here we go. Do we cut him? Is he a yes? Keep him? Is he a no? We're done with him.
For me, I think you keep him. I think you keep him, and you keep him for the sake of the process and the project that he has in mind. I think just to honor his project, and one of the bright things that came out of here, one thing I would like to just hone in on too is like, let's quit acting like Mexico was going to win this from the jump. Like, what was a successful tournament for them? Get to the next round and play Argentina and lose there. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference between losing there than losing in the group? Like, to me, I don't know if there's so much of a difference there. At least for me, it's my personal opinion. But I will say one of the positives that came out of this tournament, at least for me, is one point that you made earlier, Yudving, which is that like now you have a good idea of who your defense is, and now you can start building from that, you know. And I think that that's a positive that I think that he got out of it, and I think the other positive is that you know now that like your wingers are not serving the crosses that are needed for Santi to succeed. You know, like the creativity is not there, so we need to go find that.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's kind of like an either way. It's like or either or. It's like if you keep yes, but bring somebody on board or have them have like a sense of like power to go against some of the things that are wrong with the selection. And if you don't keep them, bring somebody that can actually or like that you're gonna give allow them that flexibility so that they can run something to make those changes needed to see a different phase of the selection.
Yeah, to me, I'm on the fence too. I think I know there's a lot of talks of bringing Aguirre, Hugo Sanchez, Almada from Pachuca. Even Tuca was signing himself up when they were talking on ESPN because he's a ESPN analyst. Um, yeah, but to me, I don't know. I think it's just like one of those things where like you just have to see like what comes out of this process. You might as well work with what he has. I mean, he's worked with these players since the Olympics team that won bronze, and you just might as well just write it out. I mean, what better can another coach do that? Like, where will another coach get you that Jimmy Lozano is like can as well? Or you know what I mean? Like was Javier Aguirre like let's for example was Javier Aguirre gonna get us to the next round but then lose to Argentina? Was he gonna get us first place in the group? Were we gonna make it to the semifinals or the finals with someone else with the pool of players that Mexico has? I don't know. So to me, that's why I'm kind of on the fence about it. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see because again, Mexico has a World Cup in their home country this year or 2 years. So I know they'd want to put on, or I'd hope that they'd want to put on a good performance. So yeah, and that's it for our game.
All right. You know, last point on that is like I don't think him getting help like is a bad thing. I think it's great that they're trying to actually get him some help. Like I think he needs more experienced coaches. From my understanding, his coaching staff is really young and they're also learning, at least from what I understand. And I just don't see it as a bad move to get Aguirre in there or just a more seasoned coach to kind of guide him in this process. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of my take. And another shout out too, another positive is I thought Luis Roma was a really good player for the in this tournament. I thought
Mm,
he had a really good tournament. So um that's another key player that I'm like, hey, his work and he's those players and he didn't get scored on. So
mm,
I mean, I don't know. Those That's good for me, at least I think so. He didn't go to the next round, but
I think so too.
I don't know.
That's the one highlight to me. You just didn't get scored on. Your defense is good.
Yeah,
You have pillars back there.
yeah. All right, boys. Then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it for our 4th of July special.
4th of July special. Thank you for folks for tuning in. I see some of you still stayed in here for the whole episode. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Make sure that you drop a subscribe for us if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitch. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you follow us. Leave us a review. We greatly appreciate that. Anything else from you guys
Yeah, and just follow our social media as well. Like, comment, share, keep the conversation going.
in our
Uh,
social media as well?
at Strictly Football 21
Thank
on
you.
Instagram and TikTok. It's where
Yeah,
we mainly keep it going.
yeah,
Yeah. Interact with us.
yeah.
It's cool.
Thank
And
you.
thank
It's
you,
fun to
yeah,
see.
and thank you for those who still watch and like and comment and share all that
Yeah,
good stuff.
yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, until next 2 weeks then.
So in 2 weeks, we'll